If you're serious about your purpose, if you're serious about your business, if you're serious about chasing excellence, not women, you have to maintain that to a degree.
I'm not saying don't have kids. I'm not saying don't have a relationship with a woman.
Rich Cooper.
Mr. Richard Cooper.
Richard Cooper.
Rich Cooper.
Rich Cooper to the show. How you doing, man?
We don't normally go live on Thursdays, guys, but we got a special guest in the house, man. We got Rich Cooper.
His name is Richard Cooper.
Richard, it's great to see you. I really appreciate your coming on.
Rich Cooper, welcome to the show today.
Being more honest about it, and women at the same time sort of relaxing their standard.
Cash, but 5% of my wealth in crypto. 95% of that is...
I just want a girlfriend, I just want one girl, I just want to be in a relationship.
And when you spend time playing Halo with little Timmy and zeroing the scope in on the BB gun...
Richard Cooper has generated over 1 billion views across all his content and has built an audience of more than 700,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's a 2-time best-selling author, the mind behind The Unplugged Alpha and The Top Shelf Man, with 5-star reviews and over 1 million copies sold.
It's showtime.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Unplugged Alpha podcast. If you're new here, I'm the guy that helps other guys, get more out of what they want in life without making the same costly mistakes. I've done that through a couple of books that I've written over the years, The Unplugged Alpha and The Top Shelf Man. You can find them both on Amazon if you're new. And just to carry on with the housekeeping before we get into tonight's topics and tabs, if you're interested in joining my community and what the offerings are there, take a look at the top left of your screen. You can scan that QR code. It'll also be in the description below after the show. So let's get started tonight. It's kind of funny because I just noticed that I'm wearing the exact same shirt that's in the thumbnail. It doesn't often happen, but I wanted to touch on the Sneako incident before we sort of get into the other tabs that I've reserved for the evening, which will help you understand the unplugging process a little bit better as it applies to you as a guy, so you can get more. I noticed the other day, was it July 3rd? It was posted. I don't know. Was it around football celebrations? Was it around another New York event? I don't know. But there was a post that he had put out there, and on the X platform, and both Alex Jones and Elon Musk suggested deporting Sneako for it. He's kind of a weird character. You know, I've known of him for several years now. I mean, you know, his face has been around. I think he started out as a young kid streaming sort of thing, and he got the attention of a lot of people. I don't know what his background is. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's like part Filipino, part black, part white. I'm not sure what the mix is, but today he's Muslim when it comes to faith. You guys know me if you've watched me for a while. I am not a man of a specific faith. Do I have some spirit to me? Sure. And I have friends that are, you know, Muslim, Christian, Jews, whatever. You know, I don't have a problem with people practicing a religion. I think that the problem really comes from when you command the attention of people and then you say things and do things that are detrimental to the fabric of society and the country itself. Sneako lives in New York City. Let me put up the clip over here just so you can see it. Let me see over here. There's so many tabs I got open over here. Here we go. There we go. Is that big enough? That goes that way. We'll go this way. Anyway, so this is what pissed off Alex Jones and a whole bunch of other people too, by the way, including the Navy SEAL that shot Osama bin Laden. He had a comment about it. It was really funny. Let's have a look over here at what went down.
This is the Islamic Republic of New Yorkistan.
So if you didn't hear it, he said, this is the Islamic Republic of New Yorkistan.
Islam will be in every household. Inshallah, the whole world is Muslim.
He's suggesting the whole world will become Muslim and it will be applied to those watching.
Welcome to Mamdani's New York.
Sounds like he's a fan of Mamdani, that new New York mayor that just took office recently.
You see this city? You see how it looks? Inshallah, your city looks just like this too.
Well, there you go. In some of the comments, now, one of the things that's wild about Islam is that it generally, I mean, there's more liberal Muslim people out there, but it's generally... prohibited due to drink alcohol. So have a look at this.
Can I get a mojito, a Moscow Mule, and a tequila shot? Mojito, Moscow Mule, and tequila. Thank you.
Mojito, Moscow. So 3 drinks. He's drinking. He's drinking quite a bit. I'm also told that he's heavy into drugs as well. Don't know. Haven't seen it. I haven't seen a clip of him admitting it or doing it. But weird sort of statement. Like the thing that I've noticed about his character over the years is that he's all over the place. There's no consistency. It's like, I'm straight, I'm gay. I like watching guys bang my girl. I don't like watching guys bang my girl. I'm pro-Trump, I'm against Trump. I'm pro-America, I'm against America. I'm pro this religion, I'm against this religion. Now I'm Muslim. Do whatever you want. Honestly, at the end of the day, practice whatever faith you think is going to serve you best. I don't have a problem with that. But I think that the statements made, especially around the Independence Day, the July 4th weekend, were poorly timed and in bad faith. And you see that, throughout all the commentary as you sort of scroll down over here. It's all the same thing over and over again. He's an interesting character, man. Really, really interesting character that has the attention. I'm not sure why. Like the one thing that puts me off about other guys, and I think that this should be the yardstick which you should be measuring men by, one of them anyway, of several. And it's like, if a guy is the kind of dude that will sit in the cuckold chair in the corner of a room and watch another man service your girlfriend, wife, whatever it happens to be, something wrong with that dude. And he's admitted to being that guy. He's also admitted to indulging in homosexual porn. I'm starting to see why Andrew Tate's been calling him sneaky lately and doesn't seem to like him that much. Odd character. I mean, I really hope the best for the guy, but he's stepping into weird territory lately. I'm going to leave it at that. There's probably a few other tabs over here that might touch on something relevant to that, but I want to get into the other stuff and also make sure I give you guys an opportunity to do your call-ins. Let me grab the call-in link here. So on these shows, guys, you can always call in and ask a question live. It's totally free. It's public, of course. I mean, you're on a live stream, but I'm happy to answer all of your questions and anything that you have as it's related to a topic on tonight's show, one of the tabs that I've opened, anything along that line. Call in and ask a question. Anyway, I got some really cool updates for you in this show this week. And a very interesting announcement I think you guys will be interested in too as well. So there's a call-in link in case you need it. I'll kind of drop that as the show is doing its thing. You probably heard about the Patriot Front people who were called the mass supremacists. If I'm getting that right, let me just see here where that tab is. We got some football stuff to talk about. Yeah, okay, let's start with this one over here. There's so many of these Patriot Front people. A lot of folks think that these guys are feds. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? You tell me what your thoughts are on that situation. Are these guys all feds? All of them? Every single one of them? Anyway, there was a, this went viral, completely viral, because this black lady sitting here with a look on her face, surrounded by it says here on the Daily Telegraph, masked white nationalists descend on Washington, D.C. You will notice, however, that nobody stabbed this woman in the neck, attacked her, made her life inconvenient or anything like that. She's just sitting there, doing her thing, and everybody around her is doing their thing, minding their own business. And that's the way, things really should be in situations like that. But you never see the mainstream media. What does it say over here? The Telegraph. Mass white supremacists descended on Washington, D.C. ahead of July 4th celebrations on Saturday, marching through the city center and riding on the city subway. Oh, no, they rode the city subway. An estimated 400 members of a group called the Patriot Front met for a march on the U.S. Capitol on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. I mean, so what? What did they do? Did they riot? Did they commit acts of vandalism, destroy buildings? All I saw was a bunch of guys with hats and a face mask and some flags, just sort of like making a statement saying, hey, Independence Day is here. We're here to support it. We obviously have some grievances. Fine. But it's funny that the mainstream media tackles it like this. You never heard anything in the mainstream media when DeCarlos Brown stabbed Irina, I'm pronouncing her name wrong, the Ukrainian girl who was also on the subway, in the neck, and walked away saying, I got that white girl. You never heard that part plastered across the mainstream media. But a girl sits here pleasantly and quietly by herself on a train, and she happens to be black, surrounded by a bunch of white dudes. The mainstream media makes a huge deal out of it. There's a war out there, a very cold war, a very silent war, if you will, going on right now. And I understand why people are there. There's another video here that emerged of the same gal before all of the what do you call them, Patriot Front guys got on the subway, and she's, I don't know what the hell she's doing here, but her pants are down. Here, I'll play it for you. Yeah. Sorry, I got to kill the music because it's a problem. But her pants are down, and she's doing I don't know what, and she pulls her pants back up. You can see it's blurred over here, and then she gets back up and she sits back on her bench wearing the exact same t-shirt she is over here. It's the same chick. This is also her mugshot for whatever she was arrested for. I don't know. Who cares? What do the caption here say? It's been revealed that the black woman Democrats put on a pedestal for bravely riding a train with Patriot Front members was engaged in indecent exposure on the train moments before the photo was taken and had a lengthy arrest record. You know what's funny about all of this? Let's go back to this tab. What I find hilarious about this is all of these guys sitting around her, she's behaving. She's behaving like a normal human being. There's no outbursts, there's no freak shows, no chimp outs, nothing like that. Just very chill, sitting there, minding her own business, just like everybody else. She's behaving. Isn't that incredible? It's just wild that these things end up going down this way, but the media portrays it as, oh no, she was surrounded by a bunch of white dudes and she was terrified, sort of things. Like nothing happened. Just like, let me share this tab instead. Just like you see these guys over here. Again, maybe they're feds. I don't know. Right. But just like you see over here, these fellas passing through the turnstile, queuing up, waiting to get through. They're putting their money in. They're scanning their credit cards, whatever they have to do to get to the other side, like a, normal contributing member of society, paying their way, not hopping the turnstile, not acting like assholes, not destroying anything, not being degenerate, just, in an orderly fashion, sort of passing through. It's interesting that, things will go down that way, but there's no, these guys had a completely peaceful presence that day, and that was it. Right? It's only white straight guys that end up getting the brunt end of most of the criticism when it comes from the social media. There's another tab over here. Share screen. This one. Again. Another photograph here. Black man rides the DC Metro as white nationalists prepare to march on Washington, DC. And again, see this dude over here. People are sitting down, they're standing up, not bothering the guy at all, not getting in his face, not doing anything to disrupt his mode of transport or travel. They're leaving him be. Unusual, eh? Very, very unusual that things go down that way. Yeah, somebody here in the chat, Dave here says, white people are the only group that's prohibited from expressing in-group preference. Yeah. Let's close this tab. Now, I got a few more over here. Now, in case you've missed it, the World Cup's been going on in North America. And I stopped watching sports a long time ago. Let me tell you why. For me, and I've made a video about this on the Entrepreneurs and Cars channel years ago, but it's worth mentioning again. You'll sit there and you'll watch athletes basically go to war. It's what they're doing. It's a stadium type of environment. They compete against one another at the highest level. And in the situations like, football or any other sport, it's a competition to see which team is better following certain rules. I'm just not a fan of sports. I find them boring. I find them incredibly wasteful as far as time goes. some people will say, yeah, but Rich, it's just fun. It's all in, it's all in good nature. It's all just to, watch a friendly competition, to support your team or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but what could you be doing with the amount of time that you're spending watching other people on a pitch chase excellence while you cheer them on and yell for them? Well, and, by the way, your girlfriends or your wives are also doing the exact same thing, oftentimes wearing the jersey of the man on the football pitch with his name on her back. Not my name, but another man's name on her back as she's cheering on another man. It's weird. It's weird, man. I don't find it a good use of time. I don't find it fun. I don't find it enlightening. I just don't get it. Now, that being said, I stopped watching all mainstream sports with the exception of Euro Cup, World Cup, and some Formula One stuff. And I stopped watching football several tournaments ago when I remember watching France play England or something like that. I was born in England, so, I'm sitting there with my dad. He's obviously a big football fan. He's very English. And, I said to because I'm watching the teams play and I'm like, where are the French people on the team playing for France? Like, I thought I'm watching France play here. And this is the point that this tab over here made recently. And I'm glad somebody said something, because I noticed this a while ago. Let me put this back up on the screen for you. This one here. So this is the Norwegian teams. This is the current Norway team, right? I'm not going to try to pronounce their names, but these are their fathers above them. And it's like, this like lineage of Norwegian players in 1994 World Cup. Now they're back again in 2026, but now their sons are playing in their place. This is Erling's father. This is Alexander's father. And again, this is Christian's father just above him. The caption is, France can't even find 3 real French guys to be on their team. I mean, if you're going to watch a competition, if you're going to watch a war, if you're going to watch a battle, if you're going to watch a sporting match, which it's pretty much the same thing, just set aside some of those things. If you're going to watch any of those things, I want to watch the country being represented in that sporting match, in that battle, whatever you want to call it. But what you'll find nowadays, and I said to my dad at that time, I said, look, I'm done with this. I'm not going to watch Team Africa play England, right? But that's what a lot of teams put together. And, they put the best talent in there. Sure, I get it. But I want to see a representation of the country on that pitch, right? I don't know about you guys, but if sports are ever going to become a part of my life, competitive sports, I want to see a representation of the nationals from that country playing on that pitch against another country from their nationals. I want to see French people playing British people. I want to see Germans playing Argentinians. You get the idea, right? It's weird. It is absolutely strange to me. We've talked about women before being in things like policing, firefighting, military, politics, judiciary. One of the interesting things that was done in a field test, I'll talk about this again before I show you this video very quickly, is you have the study that was done where they had a one-way mirror, and the participants watching through the mirror were watching others play video games. And the people watching through the one-way mirror were wired up to their brain. And if their empathy center would light up, there would be a notification. If their reward or joy center would light up, there would be a notification sent to the data collectors. See what I'm saying? So these people are playing video games, and they would randomly shock the people playing the video games that the observers were watching through the one-way mirror. Now, here's what happened between the men and the women. When the women were watching, sorry, let's do the men first. When the men were watching the people playing video games and the participants playing the video games got shocked when they were cheating, then the joy or the reward center lit up. When they were shocked and they weren't cheating, then the empathy center in the men's brains lit up. So let's just recap. Cheating, empathy lit up in the men's brains. Cheating, reward lit up in the men's brains. Not cheating, but shocked anyway, empathy lit up. With women, it didn't matter if the people on the other side of the one-way mirror were cheating or playing fairly. Women's empathy centers lit up regardless because they got shocked. That's the big difference between men and women. There's a level of justice that men observe. And it's like, this guy is a piece of garbage. He's being punished for it. I'm happy about that. Okay. This guy's a good person and they're doing something fairly. They're doing something reasonably and they're punished for it. I'll feel empathy for them. But women feel empathy regardless. And the point there is, this is why women shouldn't be in judiciary positions. They shouldn't be judges. They shouldn't be in places like law enforcement and firefighting and military and politics specifically. Those are the main areas. Now, setting aside the judgment call, there's also the matter of like, why are we putting women in harm's way? And I've said this before, and I'll keep talking about it because I find it extremely bizarre. We should not be putting our daughters, our sisters, our women in harm's way like this. I'm just going to back this up over here. There's this female cop over here getting her ass just handed to her. Sorry, I got to turn off the music. Getting her ass just handed to her by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm seeing 6 now attacking her simultaneously until some other male cops come along and they kind of send them off. They are a danger to themselves, to their peers and the public. There's another one that I want to show you as well. This one is North America. I want to show you one that occurred in the United Kingdom. This is a much bigger deal because this guy here is arrested and they intend to try him, and it looks like they're going to put him in jail. Here it is right here. Is that the video? Hang on a second. Here it is right here. Share. So this is the one in the UK. Now, the interesting thing about this one, I'm going to go full screen so you can see it. It says right down here, the Birmingham police made a statement saying, this incident has been reviewed and we have no concerns over the officer's actions, and we are satisfied that they were reasonable and proportionate in the circumstances. We would ask that the footage is not further shared to allow the legal process to continue. So here's the video. There's a kid over here behind these 3 black dudes, white kid. Just watch what happens. So he's clearly attacked by several of them. Then they run away. What do the police do? Well, the female police officer runs at this boy. Watch. I don't know if you saw the other female police officer gesture to chase off the black guys, but she never really achieved anything. She made several strides and then she turned around and walked back. Anyway, so that's the clip that the Birmingham police do not want you to share, and they do not want you to see, because this guy is now going to go to trial. The guys that were attacking him that caused the problem ran off scot-free. He was the one that got arrested, right? And this is the kind of stuff that they're trying to hide from you. They don't want it shared. They don't want it known, right? Let's bury that stuff. I had another tab over here relevant to the Carlos Brown thing. Where is it? There it is. This is such a good visualization, a solid illustration of what happens with the mainstream media, right? Guess which one the legacy media is triggered over? It's true. Which one are they pissed off over? This one, the one on the bottom. Not this one up top, this one on the bottom. Remember that, folks. Remember that. All right, let's go into divorce, because I got a tab here with James Sexton. If you live in the Western world anywhere, United States, Great Britain, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, any places like that, and there's problems created and there's a difference between the races and the people where the problems are created. We saw it with the Indian guy that stabbed the English kid a few weeks ago, and he died. He told the police, I couldn't breathe. They didn't care. He said, I've been stabbed. They said, I don't think you have, mate. And they just sort of blew it off. And they let him sort of like run off. And they put him in handcuffs while he was doing nothing. They fed him even, gave him a nice meal, didn't put him in handcuffs because they alleged that there was a incident of racism, right? And that's all that has to happen. And that's why you get in trouble so quickly and are judged so harshly. Just stay away from problem areas, guys. It just ain't worth it. Let me put the Sexton post up because I think this one's good from the perspective of women. James Sexton does the rounds on a lot of the podcasts. He's got quite a bit of attention. So let's have a listen to what he says over here about Russian women. I'm just going to broadly apply this to Eastern European women, by the way, not just Russian women.
Even Russian women, or we used to call them the Red Menace sometimes in the courthouse. Russian women, in my experience professionally, not personally, professionally, they will, when you are now the enemy, when you have crossed that line, they get fucking ice cold. And there is nothing. When you're married to a Russian woman, there's nothing she won't do for you. And when you're divorcing a Russian woman, there is nothing she won't do to you. Like she will fuck your shit right up.
Well,
so
give me an example of like, you don't have to give obviously a person, but something that they might have asked you to do or told you about.
Oh, I mean, they'll surveil the guy. Like they'll have people follow him. They'll blow him up to the IRS. I've had a couple of them up to the IRS. Yeah, and they'll shoot first and ask questions later. Like they'll call the IRS and they go, by the way, I called the IRS. Not, I'm thinking about so I can go, that's a terrible fucking idea. Like, nope. They're like, oh, I did it already. And you're like, okay, then I guess let's figure out what we're going to do with that. So that's a big one.
So this applies broadly. This isn't just Russians. This is, by the way, this is also like Latinos too, right? Like there was a clip that I used a couple of weeks ago, again, Sexton talking about something similar. And he's like, they'll burn down the house and like, kill your dog and then ask you who Consuela is later. And then you'll have to tell her, well, that's my house cleaner, right? It's like, there are certain, genres, there are certain avatars of women out there that you have to understand, like they'll be your ride or die until they're not. And then they're just going to make your life impossible. You heard him say that the Russian women are the kind that will call the IRS on you, which is the dumbest thing ever, because if you're married and you're going to family court to divide up the assets, why would you tie up the family assets just to burn the guy? Like they don't think about the details here, right? You understand what I'm saying here? There is a class of women that will just do that, where they'll seem like ride or die. They'll seem like they get it. They'll seem like they want, to make sure that you're looked after and that you're well, until you're parting ways and the knot needs to be untied. Then it's just hell hath no fury. And it's not because they're a woman scorn. It's just hell hath no fury, because that's just the way that Eastern European chicks are. Since we're on the topic of marriage, there's a post that somebody sent me here the other day, married guy. And if you've read my book, you all know that there's a chapter in the Unplugged Alpha. This one here, you can get that on Amazon. That talks about why smart men don't marry. And this guy over here says, my wife hates my lifestyle, even though I'm averaging $500,000 a year from trading. She hates that I trade 2 to 3 hours a day, then play the PlayStation and chill for the rest of it. It doesn't matter how much I make. She treats me like her unemployed bum husband who won't get a job. And you got Tate sort of like, coming in here. He says, my wife is mad at me while I pay for her. What's wrong with you, man? Even all the comments are a bunch of simps. Oh my God, go outside as a hobby and say you're working. What the F are you clowns doing? F another woman and tell her. She will beg you to go back, only video games. That's just the kind of funny stuff that, Tate will say. But I just captioned this over here. This is, reason number, whatever, 52,000 and change, why smart men don't marry. You can get into a relationship with a woman, you can love a woman, you can even have children with a woman, but you don't need to live in a way that looks like marriage to the government. Let me share another story with you. I know a couple of athletes now. So I've been doing this for 12, 13 years. I've done consults with athletes, politicians, no A-level actors, but I've talked to B and C level actors. I've talked to a lot of interesting people over the years on the one-on-one consults. You can find me, by the way, if you want to book me on the website at richcooper.ca. And I was talking to this guy who was a retired MLB baseball player once. And he told me that after he had retired and he had done well in his career, they won some World Series, he got some rings or whatever, the gift is for winning their championship several times, made a lot of money, tens of millions of dollars, probably into the hundreds of millions, at this point, which he's sitting on. And he was telling me, one day when he had retired, he decided to go have a lie down on his couch, maybe something similar to this one over here behind me, and take a nap. And his wife walked into the room as he laid his head down in his enormous house, which is completely paid for, one of 3, while his children are looked after, going to private schools. There's cars in the driveway, there's gas in the tank, there's food in the fridge, everything's looked after. And then she proceeded to chirp him and ask him why he was taking a nap. And he basically looked around and said, because I'm tired and I'm going to take a nap. I paid for all this, right? It's interesting that is the default. That is a hardwiring with all women. It doesn't matter if you're a world-class athlete. It doesn't matter if you're an average guy, trading in the markets, or maybe a dude, that's a mechanic or a trades guy, making a decent living to provide for the family. Women hate it when guys sit down and relax and take a break or play video games or take a nap. You can do all those things if you don't live with a chick without any chirping whatsoever. It's not a question of whether or not marriage is going to go weird and difficult and awkward. It's just a question of to what extent. Like I've said, it's not a question of whether or not men will go through betatization through 1,000 concessions. Y'all will. I'll do it. You'll all do it. The best of us will. It's just to what extent. Is it going to be severe? Is it going to be very mild and light? If you know what I'm saying. These things are as consistent as anything else. Again, pay attention, guys. I help men get more out of what they want out of life without making many costly mistakes. Pay attention to these details. You understand what I'm saying? I saw here real quick. Let me just address this. Somebody said, can I buy your book as a PDF? No. You can find it on Amazon on Kindle, which is the cheapest version. It's less than $10. You can get it in print. You can get it in hardback, the hardback version. And you can get it in Audible. And I read both the books on Audible. They're excellent books. They're quite good. I'd recommend, if you're newer to this, the stuff that I talk about, then read the Unplugged Alpha first. If you want the more advanced version, then read this one. This one will get you deeper down the rabbit hole and make sure you have far better experiences over the long term. This one's more of like a management thing, like over the long term, if you know what I'm saying. So pay attention to those. Let's give this a little close down over here, but thanks for asking. Here, I'm going to drop that call-in link. I'm just going to keep popping in here. Floyd here says it's on Apple Books, so maybe you can get it as a PDF there. This one here is really funny. I've talked about tattoos before, and I have a few tabs up on tattoos. But before I get to that, I want to celebrate a win here. So a few years ago in 2023, when I was still boxing, and I was just finishing up boxing because I think I just had my fight, I went and I got a DEXA scan. And when I went and I got the DEXA scan, I bought a package, 2 package. I just got the other scan this morning today. I want to share the work that I've done on myself, because I'm always telling you guys, do the work, right? And here's the summary. It's like 7 pages long, so I'm not going to put the whole thing up for you. But essentially, on the left here is the original scan. On the right is the new scan from this morning. So the one on the left is from 2023. The summary is bone mineral density went up. So my bones have become more denser and stronger. My lean weight has gone from 79,000 grams to 82,000 grams. I believe that's 3 kilograms increase. Fat weight went from 16,000 grams down to 9,322. That's amazing. I was 223 back in December when I entered this fitness competition with my community, with the other guys in it. So I wanted to see what the final numbers would look like. But again, fat weight went down dramatically. Total weight went from 100 kilograms down to 95 kilograms. I'm 206 as of this morning when I stood on my scale in pounds. And fat tissue, this is the nice one, went from almost 17%, 16.9%. Keep in mind, I was boxing twice a week, which is intense cardiovascular exercise. I went from 16.9% body fat down to 10.2. I know that it doesn't look like it in what I'm wearing right now, but your boy's got abs again. I'll talk about the weight loss and all the stuff that I did, maybe in another dedicated show in the coming weeks. But I've said this before, guys, you can't manage what you're not measuring. Measure your weight. There's ways that you can do it by standing on a scale every morning. They're like $35. You know, one of those, what do they call them? You know, the impedance resistance scales. You stand on them, it shoots a little current through it, measures you. They're not accurate, but they're accurate to the prior measurement. I'll tell you how inaccurate they are. The scale, when I stand on it, says that I'm 15.7% body fat. The DEXA scan put me at 10.2% body fat this morning. All right. But it also said that I was like 17% body fat back in December. So, you know, a couple of percent body fat drop. They're not accurate, but they at least are accurate in the direction that you're trending towards, if that makes sense. Make sure that you pay attention to the little details in life. This is one of the small areas that matters for your health, your longevity, and your quality of life. I'm super chuffed with those numbers. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. I dropped that on X earlier today. Now, speaking of going back to marriages and prenups again, I've talked about Dave Ramsey before. You know, I'm not a huge fan of his rhetoric. And it seems it's wild because he's really, really inconsistent with his call-ins, right? Like he does these call-in shows and they never seem to consistently be handled the same way. So check this one out over here. This is about prenups.
I'm getting married and my fiance is 50. I'm 60. We're both retired. And based on our wealth differences, we should probably have a prenup.
What is the wealth differences?
So she's got $3 million, no doubt.
Now, remember, the last couple of times I've shown Dave Ramsey video quotes when they're talking about relationships and prenups, the vast majority of the time they side with the woman and they say dump him and move on and get a guy that won't ask you for a prenup. But today we're getting a different message.
So she's got $3 million, no debt, and I've got $45 million, no debt.
Okay. Yes, you should have a prenup.
Yeah. So in
what, Dave?
The question revolves around what's in the prenup, what should go in it. So, you know, she wants to feel like we're building something together in our marriage going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Which we've heard women say over and over again when they call in on the show.
And she talked about slowly maybe moving some of my separate property into community over time, you know, like 5% a year, you know, for over 20 years. You know, at first I thought that was fine. But then I started looking at the numbers.
How much of your 45 million is real estate?
Just a couple million.
Okay. So what is the rest of it?
So the rest of it is stocks mainly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and I've
well,
also
the way
50...
some people do it, and you can do whatever you want. It's kind of like a will. You make it up, and what if you both like it, you've got your deal, right?
Right.
But what some people do is we exit with what we entered, 3,045,000, and any growth from then on is ours. Some people do that, or a percentage. You know, a ratio of some kind. Any growth from this point forward is 70% Jim's and 30% hers, or whatever. I just made that up. Okay. Yeah. And so, but if yours is only growing for you and hers is only growing for her, that does kind of leave a negative light on what she's concerned about. And if she's concerned fairly, then we need to grow a life together from this point forward. The main purpose of this is that she should not come out of this with $20 million 2 years from now.
Right.
You know, that's
what I was afraid of. Like,
yeah, that's the main purpose. So we exit with what we entered with, and then have a formula for how the growth would be dispersed.
Okay.
And I don't think 50-50 growth is fair. Because she would, if you made 10% on your investment, you'd make $4.5 million a year, and she'd make $300,000.
Right.
So, but I mean, if you want to be generous on it and say, 70% of the growth from this point forward on our whole thing is mine and 30% on the whole thing is yours, or whatever. Make up a number. I don't care. But I mean, so the two things you have to address is leaving with what we entered, and then how do we build a life together and address the growth?
Right. So why is that messaging not consistent from the people running the show? Because for the vast majority of cases, and I've demonstrated this several times now over the last several months, when a woman calls in and says, hey, I've got $250,000 in student loan debt and I work as a nurse and my boyfriend, I moved into his house and he pays all the bills and we're talking about getting married and he wants me to sign a prenup. And I don't think that's fair because, blah, 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 insert the reason. Sometimes it's a single mom with kids. Sometimes it's just a younger chick that's got some student loan debt. But in every single scenario, and you see me have this conversation for several months now, the remedy, the answer from the Ramsey clan is just leave the guy, find somebody better, right? Interesting that when she's 50 and he's 60 and she shows up with $3 million, he's got 40. She shows up with $3 million. He's like, oh, no, you got to get a prenup. You got to protect that 40 mil, right? Be consistent. I like consistency, right? It's, dude, the answer is always the same. Rich, hey, I got an idea. Do you think I should get married? No, you don't need to get married. It's stupid. I'm always going to be consistent with that, right? And if you're going to get married and do something dumb like get married, do something at least smart like get a prenup, a good one with a good lawyer, and do a whole bunch of other stuff that make sure that you don't intermingle and intertwine things. Yeah, that's the other thing Floyd just said over here. He normally calls them all a princess. It's true. Oh, you're a princess. You can do better. And it's like, why do we keep fluffing up women and lying to them and keep telling them all these ridiculous narratives like you're a princess and you can do better when you've already landed the best that you're probably ever going to get? Anyway, I found that incredibly entertaining and hilarious. Let's talk about cars for a minute because shifting gears as one does when in a car. So Ferrari just brought back the manual transmission in the 12-cylindry Ferrari. This car over here. It's all right. The car, design language, I'm not a big fan of. I think Pininfarina was far better off at designing Ferraris back in the day. But they've gone and stuck a gated 6-speed manual transmission. This looks very similar to the gated 6-speed manual I had in my 2011 Audi R8 V10 Spider. It was a manual. Loved that car. It was a hell of a lot of fun. They're sticking them back in cars now because buyers are demanding them. Okay. Porsche, as of this time right now, is the only brand that has an actual manual transmission that is linked to the transmission and a clutch pedal. What Ferrari has done, and this is so gay. I captioned this, this is so gay. I don't even know where to begin. But what Ferrari has done with this manual transmission is it's a manual by wire. I'm going to say that again. It's a manual transmission by wire. The stick shift is not connected to the transmission, and the clutch pedal is not connected to the clutch whatsoever. It's a simulation of a manual transmission. Car enthusiasts want a manual transmission. They want to row a gear and know that that stick is connected to the transmission and you're engaging the next gear. They want to push the clutch pedal in and know that the clutch plate is being released from the flywheel and being reapplied when the clutch is released. That's what automotive enthusiasts want. I still think people are going to buy this hunk of shit. But anyway, so what they've done is instead of engineering and designing a brand new transmission that's a 6-speed manual, the Ferrari comes with an 8-speed dual clutch. So what they do is when you put it in manual mode, it operates like a 6-speed only. It locks out the 2 top gears, 7th and 8th, which are kind of overdrive gears for a car like this. So you can row the gears and you can push the clutch in and stuff like this. And apparently if you don't follow the correct movement, the computer will recognize it and stall the car to give you a simulation of a bad manual transmission driver. This is where we're at, guys. We're at a point now where the pussification of the West is now giving us simulated manual transmissions. Did you guys ever see, what was that movie? Demolition Man. It was with Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock. And there was a scene, there's a whole bunch of other good actors, and it's a decent movie. It was done 20, 30 years ago, probably. And and the plot is Stallone, Sly is thawed out to fight crime well into the future. And he takes a liking to Sandra Bullock, and Sandra Bullock suggests that they have some sexy time. Only in the future, they don't have real sexy time. They have simulation sexy time, where you put on this mask and some device on your head, and then you sort of like go through the motions, not touching each other, not, doing it the old-fashioned way, just doing it that way. This is what they're trying to do to us, okay? Bit by bit, little by little, they are slowly pussifying us with these ridiculous things that are supposed to make us feel cool and normal, like we're driving a manual transmission that's not a manual transmission, it's fake and gay. And by the way, you're paying $190,000 premium for a fake manual transmission in your Ferrari to get your limited edition 12-cylindri manuale. I can't believe this shit's real. With the nonsense of that electric Luce that Ferrari offered about a month ago or so, that was heavily criticized. It looks like a fucking Nissan Leaf. Now they're coming out with a manual by wire mimicking gated manual transmission. People are going to buy it though. Nerds are going to buy it. I don't know. You know what? For me, man, I think that's it with. Ferrari for me. No longer a fan. No longer a fan. Yeah, that's the one with Wesley Snipes, by the way. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Wesley Snipes ran into problems with the federal government, with the IRS for tax evasion. It was around that time. Anyway, the Ferrari Manuale. Line up now and make sure you have an extra 190,000 euro to pay for a fake manual transmission. Unbelievable. Let's talk about inheritance from the unplugged man's view of the world. There's a good clip here that I've got saved up for you guys. Let me drop the column link for you in case you want to chop it up. Let's go with... So this fella is a young man who inherited a vast quantity of wealth, and he got it all, 10 million plus, and his sister's got nothing. And he's calling in to ask for some advice on it. So let's hear what this poor fella has going on for him.
So my father passed a few months ago.
You got to stay with it to the end. I know it's 4 minutes long, but the punchline is at the end, why the father didn't leave any of the inheritance for the daughters.
Oh, and the thing is, thank you. And the thing is, he left everything to me, his house, his investments, his business. He didn't give anything to my sisters who are estranged and with our mother ever since my parents divorced. And my sisters they have asked me to help pay their student loans because my father left them with nothing.
How much was it?
Combined, I believe they went to both undergrad and grad, so it was combined, it's about 300,000.
No, how much was yes, thank you for telling me that, but how much was the inheritance?
It's a couple of million. It's basically his house, his investments, and his business.
When you say a couple million, is that like 2 million or is that like 6 million?
It's in the 8 figures.
Okay. So we're talking 10 million plus.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So he purposefully did not leave any money to your sisters because he had no relationship with them, and that was his call to make.
Are they misbehaviors?
He didn't. No, he basically cut them off because they sided with our mother during their divorce.
Okay, so they're team mom, you were team dad, and he goes, "Hey, I'm gonna leave it all to my son who's been loyal to me."
Listening.
Yes.
Okay. And now they're resentful because they feel like they deserve a portion of this money.
It seems like it, yes.
Okay. I think this is more relational, emotional than it is financial. You could write them a check and pay off the loans, but I don't know that you agree with the principle behind it or that that would have been your father's heart.
Well, yeah. What do you want to do? What?
See, we're already halfway through this and there's no clarifying questions being asked yet. Well, that's interesting. Why would your father not leave the money for your sisters? And then ask again, well, why, if you're not getting the answers? But, you know, they're already starting to dispense the worldly wisdom. But let's keep going.
What's your heart lean towards?
I don't want to disrespect my father in any way.
As you shouldn't.
Okay.
Do you have a
And
relationship
for
with your
me,
sisters? Or is it estranged as well?
It's estranged.
Okay.
So they've only come to me only for very unique cases, or when they were going to college or grad, they came to both my father and I for money. My father, I know I was there. My father refused to pay for them, and that's why they have the debt to begin with.
So it's been transactional, this entire relationship.
But can I ask, because here where I'm sitting, and you've given us, thank you for sharing what you've shared so far. What I'm trying to weigh, and George, I don't know how you're looking at this either, but I'm trying to weigh if this was a decision that was made out of dysfunction, which is I'm forcing you to choose sides, and you guys are children, so you're choosing whatever, I don't know, the parent you like the most that day, you know, that sort of thing. And is this your father?
Wait for it.
You know, having a kind of just an immature moment, right? Or is this really a reason that is with good reasoning behind it of, hey, I cut them off because they were misbehaving in this way and they made these poor choices? Or is it literally just simply, I don't like your mother anymore and they like her, you're dead to me?
So my mother had an affair. That's why they divorced. My sister sided with my mother because they liked the affair partner more. And I sided with my father because he was my father.
Got you. Okay. So you can't see how they would stand by someone who would do such a thing, basically.
Yes.
I understand. Okay.
I think you're going to be resentful if you give this money. And I'd rather them be resentful towards you than you be resentful towards them.
Okay.
There's no easy answer here. They're going to hate you.
His parents got divorced. Mom cheated on dad, had an affair partner, and the sisters sided with mom, probably lived with mom, and the affair partner, not dad, not their biological father. They sided with mom and her affair with the affair partner. And then they got the balls to ask for his inheritance after he said, no, it's all going to the boy because he was by my side. You should never disrespect your father's wishes. If he leaves you a will and he leaves you something behind, you respect the intent in which he left it behind, the words of the will, and you follow it. There's a reason for it. Women need to lie in their bed that they make and live with the accountability that they create for themselves. It's unbelievable. Let's switch gears here and let's talk about tattoos again. Because there's been some data that was presented to me this week on the tattoos. What have I said about tattoos over the years, guys? They're in my 21 red flag list. Again, if you're newer to the channel, you'll see in the ticker below, you can opt in to my email list at entrepreneursandcars.com/red-flags. And you'll get the 21 red flag chapter out of my first book. And you get the 16 green flag chapter out of my second book. So one is to what to avoid and what to look for. I put tattoos in the red flag list for a very, very specific reason. I didn't study evolutionary psychology. I didn't study patterns and behaviors around people with tattoos and no tattoos. But what I do know is there is a direct correlation between women heavily tattooed and headaches. They just directly exist with one another. So let me share this, these plots here. So predictors of being tattooed include being poor, being gay, being a woman, being 40, and lacking a college degree. Basically, what we're saying here is if you're getting a tattoo, you're a dummy. One tattoo, more than one tattoo. You can find this in my X feed, you know, by the way, if you want to sort of like go through it. But basically, tattoos correlate very strongly with all of those things. Being poor, being gay, being a chick, being 40, and lacking a college degree. Speaking of wealth, there was another data point that came from Pew American Trends. Let me see here. Share slide. This one. And the gray area is no tattoos. And as you get into blue and red, so blue is one tattoo, red is 2 or more tattoos. The chances of you being tattooed are incredibly high when you're a brokey. If you're making less than $30,000 a year, the chances are you've got tattoos. If you're a chick making less than that kind of money, chances are you got tattoos. It's just the way that it is. And then finally, this is the one that made me laugh my ass off. Share this tab instead, add the stage. Memes are the best, man. Modern women will see this and think, yeah, this is what I want my skin to look like. You see that? I don't get it. I don't get it. Look, you know, man, when I was a kid, like when I was a young man, let's say in my early 20s, tattoos were really, really rare on women. I remember the first girl that had a tattoo that I was with. She was, I don't know, 23, 4, 5. I don't know. She was in her mid-20s, let's call it. No visible tattoos on the body anywhere, but just a little heart in the bikini line down over here sort of thing, right? That was it. And then within the next 10 to 20 years, there was this trend that shifted completely from one, quote unquote, maybe tasteful tattoo somewhere in the bathing suit line that you'd only see, you know, randomly. Not like today where you get a chick that will wear an evening gown and her entire back is covered in fucking ink and she's got sleeves or sticker book shit like all over the place, like random things. I was at a restaurant the other day and the server, it's like flower pot here, sun over here, the outline of a Lamborghini Countach over here, a mushroom over here, the moon over here, just random shit like sticker book tattoos. This is all very, very common. In fact, I would argue that it's very uncommon to run into women today that don't have tattoos. This guy over here says, women are created perfect and beautiful. Why pierce and tattoo to turn me off? That's the point that I try to make. You know, it's like putting bumper stickers all over a nice exotic car. Lovely Ferrari, lovely McLaren, Lambo. It's like putting bumper stickers just all over the car randomly and thinking that it looks cool. It doesn't. It looks dumb. Stay away from women with tattoos. It is a red flag. Maybe good for a short time, but not for a long time. You'll probably remember if you watched last week's show, this image here on the right, this one. And then we've got this one here from the other week. And the caption reads here, getting beat up by blacks and you get arrested, masturbating in front of kids. This happened in Italy. And then the white liberal chick is all, oh my God, are you okay? Did you experience an amount of racism there for masturbating on the beach in front of the children? Meme, man, meme warfare. Pass that shit around. Pass that shit around. I'm going to run the ad reel. I'll be right back in like 2 minutes. This episode is sponsored by yours truly. Gentlemen, if you're new here, your starting point is to get on my email list and join 50,000 other readers. Just scroll down and opt in over here with your information. And that's where you can download the free chapters on the 21 red flags to avoid and the 16 green flags to seek in long-term relationships. Just navigate to entrepreneursandcars.com/red-flags and get started there. Beyond that, there's book 1, The Unplugged Alpha, which has sold over 250,000 copies and summarizes the way the world and women truly work. And then there's book 2, recently released, The Top Shelf Man, which takes you far deeper down the rabbit hole and is about how the top 5% of men get everything they want out of life and women. Both books are very highly rated. I guarantee that you'll love them both. You can find them on Amazon. Now, brothers, if you're like me and you take what you put in your body very seriously, you're going to want to use the Unplugged Alpha supplement line. It's the obsession with engineering higher absorption rates that sets my line apart from the others. You want to make sure that you absorb as much of the supplements as possible so you don't end up peeing out expensive urine and wasting your money. My supplement line is made in the United States from the highest quality ingredients, and unlike your typical cheap supplements in plastic bottles that originated from China, only quality supplements ship in dark glass bottles to keep your supplements fresher, longer, and don't seep endocrine-disrupting microplastics into your supplements that end up in your body. You can filter all products by your goals, including testosterone support, estrogen metabolism, fat burning, sleep support, and performance. Just visit theunpluggedalpha.com/shop and use the subscribe and save option to get 10% off your recurring supplement orders. Or check out my brand new testosterone bundle and save as much as 18% when you stack them all together. And lastly, if you've enjoyed my books and video content, you're going to absolutely love the School of Unplugging, which is my private community for men. Inside, you'll find over 50 hours of never before seen videos in a private classroom setting that'll teach you how to level up and apply the 7 spokes of a high value man to your life so that you can get the results that you're looking for. You can just copy and paste all the simple formulas to success on wealth creation, improving your looks, status, captivation, game, frame, and so much more with other men on their own unplugging journey. There's also a well-organized discussion board, meetups in real life, weekly Zoom calls that are recorded, held by me and my team of experts, all for a monthly membership that costs less than a cup of coffee, and there is brand new content being added every single month. The calendar tab makes spotting exactly what it is that you're looking for very simple, and all you do is you add it to your own calendar. See the description below for a link to everything I just mentioned above, or visit richcooper.ca, and on the courses tab, you can navigate to the School of Unplugging. Guys, make sure you check out the rest of my personal website and everything else, or to request a private one-on-one consultation with me. Now let's get on with the show. All right, let's carry on, gentlemen and ladies. Somebody dropped a comment here I just want to address. He says, I think tattoos are okay on women as long as it's minimal and brings out her feminine. In what scenario do tattoos bring out women's feminine? I'll wait. They don't. They just don't. They make women look like men. Men have had tattoos for a long time. It's been kind of a masculine trait, a masculine pursuit, if you will. You see it as part of biker gangs, Navy. You get the idea. But women started doing it because they want to start acting and behaving like men. You put women in the workforce, climbing the corporate ladder, getting their degrees, being independent and strong, you know, with the help of a man through divorce and all that sort of stuff. They're going to start getting tattoos as well. There's nothing feminine about tattoos. It's always a red flag. There's nothing attractive about tattoos on a woman. It's always a red flag. Let me share this story with you. A buddy of mine's an ER doctor, and he worked at a clinic once that was very close to a dodgy area of town. So a lot of women that were coming in to get STD tests, and he noticed that there was a very strong correlation between women coming into the clinic looking for STD tests and being covered in tattoos. Okay, so you want me to keep going and keep warning you about these things? You want to keep arguing with me? Fine. You know, if you think it's feminine, then go wife up a chick that's covered in tattoos. Put some babies in her too while you're at it. In fact, buy her a nice house and a Range Rover. Make sure that you go full retard. If you're going to go retard, just go full retard. Go all the way. All right. What's your opinion about men having tattoos? And I've heard about how it boosts sex appeal, but I'm neutral on it. It does boost sex appeal in men. There's no question that the vast majority of women find, I'm going to do in quotes, appropriate tattoos on men very sexy. They find it very appealing. That's why they try to do the exact same thing. I mean, you know, when you ask a woman, you know, I did this on the Ladies Night podcast many a times. It's like, well, what makes a man attractive and what makes a woman attractive? And it's like, you know, well, like what value do you bring? You know, you can ask these chicks, like, what do you bring to the table? And they're like, well, I've got a career, I've got a nice job, I've got 3 degrees framed in mahogany on my wall, I drive a Tesla, 17 throw pillows in my bed, perfectly organized, everything's great in my life. Chef's kiss. My doggies, my cats, you know, whatever it is they happen to be, because they're always a or they always seem to be a pet mom. All of that stuff. And it's like, yeah, guys don't find any of that stuff attractive. What do we like? Agreeable, young, useful, and sexually available to us. Enthusiastically. In fact, we'll add to that. That's it. We're not interested in career advancement. And to be quite frank and honest, most guys with a brain that have unplugged, that know my content, that have followed me for a while and asked me these questions, most guys have come to realize that women, see, a rich man can change a broke woman's life, but a rich woman will not look a broke man's way for anything long term. Now, if he's handsome, he just got out of jail, has a teardrop tattoo under his eye, she'll spend the night with him. She'll go home with him from the bar or nightclub and, have buyer's remorse the next day or two afterwards. But she'll still indulge. But anything long term, rich women don't look broke men's way. That's just the way things are. Let's throw this clip up over here. It's real short. It's about nagging, because women have a habit of doing this to guys, and it looks like Tate went off on a little bit of a rant over here. Let's see what he had to say.
And they go, well, what am I supposed to do? Go home to your parents and tell them you got a big mouth, I guess. Go home and say, Dad, I lost the millionaire because I was nagging. And watch your father look at you like, the fuck? Are you stupid? Why were you nagging? And they go, well, what am I?
It's simple, right? It's like, his argument is be so authoritative and so powerful, essentially be a top shelf man. Because when they step out of line, you just tell them, I'm not going to have any of it. And you send them off, right? And women will, look, man, women will test you. Women have a way of throwing the rocks on the ice, as children do in the wintertime, to test how strong the ice is. That's what women will do. And a smart man who's also at or near the top shelf, he doesn't put up with nagging and nonsense. It's like, essentially, and you've probably heard Tate say this before, it's a soundbite along the lines of comply or goodbye. It's like, are you a compliment to my life? Are you useful? Are you sweet? Are you kind? Do you bring, niceties to my life? Are you enthusiastic about being intimate with me often? Right? Like, these are the things that men are genuinely looking for. Not an earful of, why are you taking a nap right now? Are you going to just leave that over there? When are you going to empty the garbage? The nagging, women, I know these things go together, and I know they've been together since the beginning of time, but you have to put yourself in a position where you don't allow yourself to be compromised in that sense or regard. There's a lot of crazy chicks out there, and a lot of guys get wrapped up in crazy. Speaking of crazy, let's exhibit A. Let's show you this over here. This is what crazy looks like. Let's play this here. So this end screen over here, where you can see her holding the pistol in her hand over here. If you can't read this caption, it says, why did you take 8 hours to respond? He said, promise you won't be mad. She says, I promise. He said, I didn't want to talk to you. And then it sort of goes from there. We're going to listen to music, or we're going to listen to this? Sorry.
You just scratched my phone.
No, I fucking didn't. I didn't touch you. I didn't touch you. I didn't touch you. So you can do all this, but you can't fucking greet me.
I was cleaning up Bane's piss. Your attitude. No, I'm not getting locked in.
You're not gonna fucking greet me, right? You're fucking hitting me for what? What are you hitting me for? I just wanted you to greet me. Why can't you greet me?
Get out of my way.
Why can't you greet me, bro? Why can't you say hello to me?
Stop touching.
Why can't you greet me, bro? If a chick calls you bro, it's immediately, like, the first time she says bro, just look at her and say, who the fuck do you think you're talking to? Right? She's gotten away with escalated levels of inappropriate, disparaging, disrespectful behavior for a long time. You can tell. She's already calling him bro.
Bro, why can't you say hello to me?
Stop touching
Why can't you say hello to me?
Probably because you're crazy, bitch.
Stop touching
Why
me.
can't you greet me, bro?
Stop touching me.
Why can't you greet me?
Stop.
Then fucking greet me.
You're crazy, man.
Bro, you can't say hello to me?
Guys, none of this shit, whatever's in this packaging over here that you're looking at with the TNA, it's not worth it if you're dealing with crazy. You do not move crazy into your house.
No, I'll leave you alone when you fucking greet me, bro.
Just let me get out of the room. I don't want to be.
You're not gonna fucking greet me, right?
You're literally screaming at me.
Bro, because it's ridiculous. You're manipulating everything. You can't fucking greet me as your girlfriend.
I'm not talking to way.
You were gonna swing at me?
Get out of my way. Get out of my way.
You were gonna swing at me? You swung at me, bro.
Get out of my way.
You
He's trying to get through the doorway and she's blocking his exit.
swung at me.
You're hitting my phone.
Because you can't greet me. Why can't you just give me a hug and say
I
hello?
want to give you a hug. Gratitude.
Why not?
You're rude. You're rude, man.
You're rude,
You
bro.
left and call me a loser. And all
You're
that shit.
rude, bro.
You left and called me a loser. Stop.
Bro.
You left and called me a loser. Stop.
Ooh, she got some.
I'm gonna tell you one more time. Stop recording. If you want to talk to me, stop recording. You already deleted your fucking location and you blocked me. So I'm getting called back. Are you gonna stop recording so I can tell what really happened? Then let me see you stop recording. You like your freedom? Stop recording.
What do you mean I like my freedom?
She's already suggesting that she's going to lock him up. Do you like your freedom? Stop recording. Because women know what they can do with an accusation, right?
Like your freedom?
You took my
You're not gonna fucking apologize? You're not gonna fucking apologize?
Can I have my keys?
When you
Okay, now she's in a different outfit. So this is another incident of her having a fucking meltdown. This is a gray outfit.
apologize.
Sorry for leaving you.
I'm over here. Have some fucking respect. And stop fucking recording me. You want anything to work here? Apologize to me for fucking leaving.
You're acting crazy. I just said I'm sorry for leaving you at the
You
gym.
don't fucking mean that. You just want your
Is that a Latin chick? Does anybody know? I can't really tell. I think she's Latino.
fucking keys and stop recording me. If you fucking meant that with any sincerity, you would not be recording me and you would look at me in the eyes and say you're fucking sorry for fucking leaving me at the gym.
Oh, he left her at the gym for misbehaving. That's what you do. If you're going to be a dickhead, walk home. You figure it out.
You created, but I'm sorry for fucking leaving you at the gym.
Are you gonna stop recording or not?
Are you gonna stop acting
Are
crazy?
you gonna stop recording or not?
You're
All I
acting
want is
crazy.
an apology. You're saying I'm acting crazy. All I want is an apology. You're
just
being a
break?
hypocrite.
Did you
Just
just break?
fucking apologize to me. It's not that hard.
I'm recording because you just broke your windshield.
Bro, you broke your own windshield. You broke my windshield. I have it on
No.
video.
You broke your mirror.
You think a top shelf man would put up with any of this nonsense, that would like listen to her nag you all day? Just walk away. You're not going to negotiate with a terrorist like this. All you can do is whip out your cell phone, start recording, hold it up to your chest, hand out, cool your jets, relax. We don't need this, right? That's it. That's all you can do is just document you walking away from her as she has a public meltdown like that. And post that shit on the internet. People need to know who these chicks are so they can avoid them in the future. Some guy is going to see this video in 5 years' time and be like, hey, hang on a second. I saw you having that meltdown. I know who you are, right?
No, I didn't. It's fixed. It was just bent backwards. It was just bent backwards. Are you gonna stop recording me or not?
Are you done acting
Are
crazy?
you gonna stop recording me or not?
Yeah, if you can lower
Stop
your tone.
recording me then.
I'll stop this if you lower your tone.
Stop recording me then.
Can you promise you're gonna have a respectful
Yes,
conversation?
can you promise me you're gonna fucking apologize?
I said I will, but can you have a
All
respectful
right,
conversation?
that's fine. Can you stop recording?
Yeah, if you lower your tone.
I already told you, stop recording.
We'll lower the tone.
I already told you stop recording.
I told you I will when you lower your tone.
Whenever you want to stop recording, let me know.
I'm gonna stop
You're
recording.
not. You haven't.
You're taking my keys.
No, I didn't. Stop
The
recording.
keys are in your hand. I thought you're slamming the door.
Stop recording. Stop recording. Stop recording.
Psychotic. Crazy. I need my keys.
She's closing the garage door on the car. Oh,
Crazy. Can I have my keys
Until
back?
you want to apologize, let me know.
I have my keys back. You stole my property.
You fucking made me wait 2 hours for me to come home for nothing.
fuck is wrong with this bitch? She put fucking shit coverage throw up on my fucking clothes. What the fuck is wrong with you? Your throw up.
So this is another clip because now she's wearing the black tank where she's holding the pistol on the left in the frozen screen. So this is episode number 3 of the meltdown.
Up all over my shit. I just bought the clothes I'm washing. Why aren't you responding? What are you doing? You got a gun
for my
in
own
your hand?
safety.
For what? What's wrong with you?
Put hands on me and you're yelling at me.
I haven't put hands on you at all today. Get the fuck out of here, you psychopath. Get out of here, you psychopath.
My gun is registered to me.
You're a psychopath.
And I can use it.
So you're going to shoot me for putting throw up in my clothes?
I'm protecting myself.
You're a crazy bitch.
Because you've already put hands on me.
What is wrong with you?
It's on safety. I'm not using it.
Bro, what is wrong with you? You're going to shoot me.
No, I'm just get away from me. Get away from me.
With a gun in my house.
Get away from me.
You're
Get
shoot
away
me with
from
a gun
me.
in my house.
How the fuck am I shooting you with a gun in your house?
I'm about to post this shit.
What?
You're crazy. You put throw up, bro. There's throw up. Dogs throw up. Dogs throw up on my fucking clothes, bro. Yes, you put
because
throw up.
I washed my clothes.
Why would I not be mad? You didn't put no
You
clothes.
have anger issues.
And
that's why I'm taking my precaution to be careful with myself.
You don't see this? Would you want this on your clothes? There's so
Bro.
You think it's funny?
It's washing clothes.
You think it's funny? There's no what
You didn't even let it wash.
This dumb bitch put this soap, soap in my fucking clothes with throw up. Yeah, because you can't wash your
already
shit
fucked my arm up.
with dish soap.
You already have fucking hit me, so I'm taking my precautions.
Today's a new day.
I'm taking
I
my
haven't done
precautions.
anything
You
to
hit
you.
me many times
Bro,
already.
look at my fucking TV, man. You're a fucking psychopath.
My name is Yolanda Handy. I'm the AGM at the
I don't really care about Yolanda here with her 2 cents, but you get the idea, right? Like any indication of unhinged, psychotic behavior, just no, bye. You do not invite a chick into your life that is covered in red flags. It's very simple. This one doesn't have tattoos, but she's on my red flag list, 100%. Hissy fits, having a meltdown, violent, aggressive. She was walking around with a fucking pistol in her hand. What is she doing with a handgun talking to this guy? This is where bad thing, you leave the scenario completely and you call the police. All that you need to do, guys, if you end up in a situation with a psychopath chick, you didn't listen to me, it's a little while into the relationship, you realize she's absolutely nuts, she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, woohoo! You call the cops after you've made a video of the erratic behavior and you say, look, get her out of my house. I want her removed immediately. We're not together. I blocked her. Just get her out of my house. They might stand around, let her get a few things, whatever. But just you don't try make it work, with a chick like that. Forget it. It doesn't matter how fat her ass is or how great her tits are. It doesn't matter. It ain't worth it. There's other chicks out there that are built just as good, exactly the way that you like it, that don't bring headaches to the table. There are women out there, believe it or not. I mean, they're fewer and farther between nowadays. But there are women out there that won't bring that level of nonsense into your life. So be attentive to it. Understand? Yeah, easygoing is an underrated quality. 100%. Stay away from chicks that aren't fucking easygoing and an absolute nightmare. So let's talk. I've got a couple more tabs and then we'll start to wrap up here, guys. So there's a clip here. This one. Okay, so this one grinds my gears a little bit because you see this a lot, right? You see, men and women in divorce and wealth, and women don't. Men make more money when they get married. Blah blah blah. Anyway, let's talk about the contagious nature of divorce. So it says here, this is through Rob K. Henderson. Who's an academic, and he says people are 75% more likely to become divorced if a friend is divorced and 33% more likely to divorce if a friend of a friend is divorced. He said people. What he should have said is women are 75% more likely to file for divorce if one of their friends have been divorced. Now, again, fellas, I've talked to a lot of guys. It says over here, the contagion of divorce can spread through social network affecting friends up to 2 degrees removed. I've lost count of the amount of men that I've known that have been in 20-year marriages. And then one woman in their social circle gets divorced because whatever reason, doesn't matter. Then all of a sudden what ends up happening is usually within about 2 to 3 years, all the other women in that social circle also get divorced. They start hanging around divorced women. Birds of a feather flock together. They all start behaving in accordance with one another. They plan, they collaborate with one another. I've said this before, women make most of their decisions via committee. Committees can be their girlfriends, they can be their moms, they can be their sisters, their coworkers. A lot of the times women will sit down and they'll be like, I love him, but I don't really love him. We got 2 kids. The house is paid for. What do you think I can get out of this house if I get divorced, if I move on to, there's a cute trainer at the gym that I like that, has kind of caught my eye. Maybe like a Giselle Bundchen type of, scenario, like between Tom Brady and Giselle. She went and started fucking the Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor because he was working too much, right? Women do initiate most of the divorces. And when one of them in the friend circle gets divorced, it's like a cancer. It spreads. And then the other ones start doing the same thing. I've seen this movie many a times. I know exactly how it ends, and it ends the same way every single time. The vast majority of women in that social network, they all get divorced. Now, here's an interesting story. I was sitting down having a drink with an old friend of mine in Dubai. We used to do rallies here in North America through the Appalachian Mountains. So when I was back there in January, I said, hey, man, I'm going to be in the area and we should get together 100%. We sat down. We had a little shoot the shit session. He was filling me in on Dubai and, why he moved there from Canada and his marriage and all that sort of shit. And he's Muslim. And he was telling me that, his wife does not like Americanized women, does not like feminism, does not like women that have any feminist ideals or value. I was like, well, that's interesting. So, does she have a hard time, meeting other women and forming like social circles? Because, it's a conventional type of relationship. He goes out and he brings home the bacon, she cooks it up sort of thing. She looks after the kids. He works crazy hours, putting the business together and making it rain sort of thing. You understand? And he said to me, he goes, she won't even spend time around any women that are either divorced, getting divorced, have any, use any sound bites like the patriarchy, or they're, relying on like, that's a better woman. That's a much better woman that like, you don't have to police her. On her own, she decides these women are toxic. I don't want anything to do with them. I don't want to hang around them. I love you, babe. I don't want this to influence our relationship, to tear it apart. I don't want to lose you, sort of thing. You get the idea. That's a much better woman. Now, I want to talk about this myth that married men earn more. You've probably heard this before. Married men earn so much more money than unmarried men. I'm going to tell you why it's bullshit. Let me put up this slide over here first so we can take a look at the numbers. So here it says, everyone's heard the claim men earn more than women. According to recent data, however, the generalization isn't quite right. A more accurate formulation would be that married men earn more than women, and also more than single men. Single men, in contrast, earn no more than single women. Is this because men knuckle down when they marry, or because women are more likely to marry high-earning men? I'll tell you what the answer is. The answer is women don't latch their trailer to broke boys. It's very simple. Keep hearing how married men earn more. That's because women don't latch their wagon to broke boys. Marriage has nothing to do with a man's financial success. The fact that the mainstream media, the narrative still happens to be that married men earn more. Married men don't earn more because they're married. Married men earn more because they are competent, resourceful men that earn that a woman latched her wagon to. That's the only reason why. Women don't, like, you've heard this story about behind every successful man is a woman. That's because women don't stand behind unsuccessful men. You understand? Right? So that's the reason why you find this narrative that married men earn more than their unmarried male counterparts. They don't. If they had stayed single, they would still earn more. It's just they got married and a woman latched her wagon to his life and, they did the marriage thing. And all you got to do is say no. It's very simple. Chick, is in your life, you're dating her, you're hanging out and shit, and she wants to form a relationship. She does all the stuff that you like. And one day she goes, I got a great idea. Let's get married. All my girlfriends are getting married. It's a good idea to get married. We should get married, And guys usually go, okay, whatever you want, baby. Because they're fucking retarded, because they don't think to themselves, right? In that moment, women have a habit of doing all the right things to get the right guy. That's how they end up latching their wagon to rich, successful men, right? They'll do all the right things in the bedroom. They'll kind of bite their tongue a little bit more. They're not going to nag him necessarily as much. They'll probably be a little bit more pleasant. They're not going to have a headache when you initiate anything, at nighttime. They're going to participate in the festivities until they get married, and then that's when things start to change for you. Don't think for a second that, I should go get married because I can earn more. You're dumb if you think that you're going to earn more if you get married. Doesn't go that way. Trust me. And that's all I got for tabs tonight, guys. I should have put up a few more because it looks like I got a little more time. Let me have a quick look here at the comments here. Rich, why are most of these broads complete garbage? So Aaron Cleary wrote a book a number of years ago called The Book of Numbers. You don't have to read it. I mean, he basically, the TLDR version of it is essentially less than something like 2 to 3% of women out there are worth a commitment and a long-term relationship. And even if they are worth a commitment and a long-term relationship, I still vehemently state to men, do not get married in a place that hates men. Do not live in a way that looks like marriage, even if she is one of the 2 or 3%, good girls. Unless you marry her when she's young and she follows all of the... So there's a chapter in The Top Shelf Man that talks about the sweet spot. A lot of guys were like, I got the stuff to watch, but I want to hear some good stories. I put a lot of good stories in The Top Shelf Man. There's an entire chapter in the book about this, how marriage became the sweet spot for quite a few men. And I broke down the reasons why. Without getting in depth into the details, it's like married young, she was a virgin, was religious, had a great relationship with her father. He led, she followed, like typical kind of stuff like that. Then in that scenario, you might want to, but you don't need to. You really don't need to. And even in that case, a lot of those guys that were in that boat and said that, it worked out for me and this is why it's a sweet spot, the vast majority of them all said during my survey that they probably still wouldn't get married again anyway. So it's like, I've had my happily ever after. I've got my kids. I did the marriage thing. I did it before God, whatever religious convictions that were important to them. They still won't get married again if they ever lost their wife or they ever broke up, right? So you have to take that as well. But yeah, there are a handful of decent gals out there that are worthwhile, something long-term. But for the vast majority of you guys out there, it's like move slowly, cultivate optionality, see what they're made of, spin plates, date non-monogamously, don't commit to one chick as soon as she touches your pee-pee. That's what most guys do. Oh, she touched my pee-pee and she responded to my text, so I'm going to marry her. Don't be that guy. Cultivate your optionality. Build a life that's worthy, become that top shelf man. Then you'll be spoiled for choice. To that question. Yes, marriage is the worst contract available. It's the only contract in the world where the other party is encouraged to break the contract and then richly rewarded for breaking the contract. Okay? I mean, in the business world, like if I got into business with my friend over here, Ebs32, and we signed a business agreement, a contract to run a business together. And the contract said that he could unilaterally break the contract at any given time, dissolve the business, take half of the shit, and do whatever the fuck he wants with the assets within the business. I would never sign up for that business relationship. You'd have to be an absolute muppet to sign up for that business relationship. But guys do it all day long, every day. Until family law changes and starts to make sense, and it does in some places in the world. We've seen, I've covered this before, like in China, if you get divorced, she doesn't take any of your shit now. That's just the way that it is, right? So you're seeing some marginal improvements in those areas, but it's like, rich men aren't rich because they're married. Rich men are rich because they're competent, resourceful, and know how to make it rain. It just so happens that a chick latched her wagon to his life. And that's why he's rich and married. Women are like the people who live in LA, always in it for themselves, first and foremost. Well, that's what solipsism and hypergamy basically boils down to, right? Solipsism is an individual's inability to see past their own nose, and hypergamy is women's propensity to date across and up on the socioeconomic ladder. They want guys that are competent, resourceful, rich, handsome, jacked, tall, influential, have a good social circle, all that stuff, right? Men prioritize availability and women prioritize the best that they can get. And if they still think something out there is better than you, they will nag you, they will chirp you, they will give you a hard time because you're never good enough, right? Because there's always some other guy out there that they think they can lock down. Or maybe it was a guy from 10 or 15 or 20 years ago that got away that she was alpha widowed by. That's why you see stuff like that happen. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap it up on that note, guys. I appreciate you all joining me tonight. It's been a good show. We're almost at 60,000 subs on this channel. I don't know if we've passed that tonight or we're getting there, but if you enjoy these shows, these lessons, the tabs that I share with you, the greatest compliment you can give me, share my channel, share my videos, share my books with people that need to see them, encourage them to check it out. If you're newer here, again, get on the email list and you can get the red flag chapter and the green flag chapter. I've also created a free assessment where you can figure out where you stand on the 7 spokes of a high value man. It'll take you 8-9 minutes to complete the assessment, 7 pages, 10 questions per spoke. But as I talk about in this book, The Top Shelf Man, I've now created the assessment for you to self-evaluate where you are in the world and what potential work you might want to consider doing on yourself so you can get more out of it. Again, I help men get more out of what they want out of life without making the costly mistakes. This is what I'm here for. This is what I'm trying to help you guys with. This is what I do. I'll be back again next week, Monday night. If you want, in the comments, let me know. You want me to do a show next week on the fat loss and the muscle gain that I procured for myself? I'll give you all the details. I'll break it down for you because I had done quite a bit of work. So if that's interesting to you, I'm happy to cover that. You guys can let me know in the comments. Anyway, enjoyed the show tonight. I hope you guys got something out of it. We'll see you very soon. Peace out.
All right, guys. If you enjoyed that podcast, make sure you visit my website at richcooper.ca to learn more about my courses, my book, The Unplugged Alpha, community, or booking me for private coaching. Also, if you are a Canadian with $15,000 or more of credit card debt and what you are doing right now isn't paying off the balances, then visit totaldebtfreedom.ca and hit get a free quote to see if you qualify to settle your credit card debt for less than you owe today over the next 48 months. Make sure you check out the top pinned comment on YouTube for all the links mentioned during the show. Peace.